What's up guys, welcome back to a brand new video. And today, well, let me just show you. Today we're gonna be talking about her. Let's jump right in.
Even start. I got hoes that I'm keeping in the dark. I got my niggas across the street living large. Thinking back to the fact that they dead, thought my raps were the facts, so they sat with the bars. I got two phones, one need a charge. Yeah, they twins, I can tell they ass apart. I got big packs coming on.
So as you guys saw recently, I just copped the FX6. Now the FX6 is a cinema line Sony camera. It is the middle tier cinema line camera between the FX3 and the FX9. And this is my first impressions of it. Now I've only been using the FX6 for about a week, and just off a week of shooting with the camera, it is probably the simplest transition from a mirrorless DSLR body into a cinema line. I've never shot with a cinema line camera and the transition has been nothing but smooth. Off first impressions, you might be very overwhelmed with just all of the buttons and everything it has. But if you really take the time to just dive deep into what each and every single button, dial, and even the menu system overall, how it works, it's not really that overwhelming. It's honestly very, very simple. A lot of people talk about how complicated the menu system is, and it's kind of all over the place, but it's not as bad as people make it seem. So now this ties in perfectly with my A7S III body because they damn near have the same sensor. They both have a 12 megapixel sensor. They both shoot 4K in 24, 4K 60, and even 4K 120. The only drawback though is that with the FX6, whenever I am shooting 4K 120, I don't have audio. I have to shoot it through S&Q. So that's been one of the big transitions, because if you guys do know, whenever I do shoot any slow motion portions in my edits, I always shoot 120 and I always have audio to kind of like revert back to if I do end up using those clips for any raw moments or whatever. It's nothing new that I haven't faced before. If you guys do remember, a few years back, I actually owned the 1DX Mark II, and with that, you were able to shoot 120, but once again, you just couldn't use audio for it. So it's nothing new, it's just something I have to think about and be more intentful whenever I am shooting on site with that camera. One of the biggest differences obviously is that it being a cinema camera, it does not shoot any photos whatsoever. It is a sole video body only, but with that has many pros because this has multiple audio slots. This camera does come with a top grip that gives you 2 extra audio ports to mess with. Just like the A7S III, you have HDMI out, but this camera also gives you SDI out. Battery life, let's talk battery life. Battery life on this is actually pretty damn good. These big ass batteries right here, look at that. I can literally press and I can check the battery life on it. I don't know if you can see that, which that's crazy. These big ass batteries actually last me a good amount of time. I have this battery that it came with, but also it came with a V-mount battery and a V-mount attachment to it. Quick little backstory, I actually ended up buying this secondhand from a creative out in Dallas. I think he recently bought it like 2 months ago, and he just ended up selling it. So it's basically brand new. I think going forward, instead of buying the FX6 batteries, I will just end up buying more V-mounts, because V-mounts are, to me, more universal, because with a V-mount and with my lights, I can then have multiple V-mounts, not only for my camera, but also for my lights. So it's kind of like, you know, 2 birds, 1 stone type of investment. So it kind of works out that way. So one of the biggest things that is a reason as to why so many people go the FX6 route is because of the internal ND filters. Now, the FX6 does come with an option to preset your ND filters in. I think it has like 5 to 6 stops of internal NDs that you can mess with. So basically with that, you don't need to screw on an external ND. If I'm out shooting outside, midday, at noon, when the sun's just beaming, with a click of a button, I can just adjust my internal ND, and with that, I'm able to maintain my settings in hand without losing or sacrificing any quality while I'm shooting. Basically, I don't have to bump up my shutter or bump up my aperture to where I'm losing the blur background that I want just to get a properly exposed image. The biggest thing is that we haven't talked about this. I did buy the ZVE1 like 2-3 weeks ago, and I literally went from having that to now I have an FX6. So what happened? Basically, I bought the camera. I loved the camera. I was enjoying the camera, and not even like a week and a half into it, the camera just stopped working. Now, you guys know that the ZVE1 doesn't have a viewfinder. It solely works off of a screen, and the screen just stopped working on me. The issue is an issue that hasn't been seen before. I literally went through all of Google, all of Reddit. I went to Best Buy, and it's an issue that no one's ever seen. My best bet was to send it off, get it fixed, and I would have gone like maybe like a week and a half, 2 to 3 weeks without having the camera, and spend extra money fixing it, depending if it was covered or not based on my warranty. I actually ended up just trying to get an exchange. Long story short, I went to customer service. They told me I had to call to get my problem solved. I ended up calling customer service on the phone. They said and told me that they could have easily exchanged my camera as long as I just send it off. They'll send me a new one within 1 to 2 days, and everything would have been fine. So that whole process went its way, and I sent off my camera expecting a new one, and then the next day my order got canceled. And they told me that I was gonna get a full refund on everything, but I just wouldn't have my ZVE1. So with that, in the span of 2 to 3 weeks on waiting for my refund, because it's a whole process. I sent the camera off, then they got inspected, then they gotta process it, and then once they approve it, then the refund gets processed, and then that's processing like 7 to 10 business days, not full, days, business days. So all in all, I'm waiting like 3 to 4 weeks just to get my money back to then order a new camera. All in that time that happened, this camera popped up. So the homie up from Dallas was selling this camera, and the stars just aligned perfectly. Life just worked itself out, and life just whispered at my ear and said, yo, you need this. And I said, damn, I do. And now I own an FX6. So main reason why I wanted this is, one, this is my dream camera. So I can literally do anything and everything that I've ever wanted with this. But also, I've been shooting a lot more music videos, and I've been getting into a lot more, not cinematic, just a lot more doc style work, right? With music videos, I've been taking a more of a director and cinematographer approach, just really like set building, just really like telling a story through music videos with the artists that I do work with. And then on top of that, next year, I do want to get into more corporate work, branch off outside of fitness. Fitness is the main thing that I shoot, and that's cool because that's still gonna be a thing that I constantly do shoot, but also with Better. Better is gonna be evolving. Better isn't just a fitness soul brand. We do street style. We do all these crazy commercials. We just dropped the sickest ad that we've ever dropped, and the feedback on it has been insane. And solely getting this camera will just enhance and evolve that cinematic approach that we're taking with our content, with our material that we're producing. So this is a big investment for next year, because next year, the work that we're gonna be putting on next year is gonna be next level. And with this camera and with the A7S III as my B cam, the possibilities are endless. I just went on a whole rant, but that's the story of how I got this camera and the things that I'm gonna be doing with it. So I'm still learning this camera. Expect a full review in the coming weeks. This is just my first impressions of it. It's a very light body, which was very surprising, and I was expecting this to be a brick. You look at it and you just expect like just heavy duty. Not to say that it's not, a heavy duty build. The build is heavy duty, amazing, very much so feels like I paid some good money for it, but it's just light. So that honestly is green check for me, because I don't have to break my back adding another heavy piece of gear into my camera bag. So that is my first impressions of the body. A beautiful, beautiful Cinemaline Sony body. It's gonna be it for today's video. If you guys like this video and you guys want more like this, leave a comment down below. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And I will catch you guys next time on the flip side. Peace.